Every woman carries silent fears in her heart. It's not just about being left behind, it's about the words that cut deeper than silence, words that have the power to shake her confidence, her dreams, and her very belief in love. Today, let's uncover the phrases no woman ever wants to hear from the man she trusted most. Number 1, I don't see a future with you. These 6 words may sound simple, but they carry the weight of destruction. For a woman who has poured her heart into a relationship, this sentence feels like an earthquake that shakes the ground beneath her feet. It's not just rejection, it's the collapse of every dream she has been nurturing quietly in her heart. A woman doesn't only invest in the present moment with the man she loves, she invests in tomorrow, in building a life together, in weaving his presence into every vision she has of her future. So when she hears these words, it's not just the end of a relationship, it's the death of a story she thought was being written for a lifetime. What makes these words even more painful is that women rarely love halfway. When she gives her heart, she gives it fully, with loyalty, with sacrifice, with an emotional depth that often goes unnoticed until it is too late. To be told there is no future is to be told that all of that effort, all of those dreams, and all of that devotion were misplaced. She begins to question everything. Did he ever truly mean what he said? Were the moments they shared real for him? Or was she simply building castles on foundations that never existed? The heartbreak isn't just in losing the man, it's in realizing she was the only one fighting for a tomorrow together. These words also strike at a woman's sense of worth. She begins to wonder if she wasn't good enough to be chosen, to be fought for, to be envisioned as someone's lifelong partner. The sentence doesn't just end the relationship, it leaves behind a haunting echo of self-doubt. She questions her beauty, her intelligence, her value as a partner, and sometimes even her value as a woman. That's the cruelty of this phrase. It makes her believe that something about her was unworthy of a forever, when, in truth, it often reveals more about his fears, his lack of vision, or his inability to commit than it does about her. But the damage doesn't stop there. Hearing, I don't see a future with you, plants a seed of fear in her heart that can follow her into future relationships. Even when a new man comes into her life and treats her with love, she may hesitate. She may guard her heart, holding back parts of herself, terrified of investing again, only to be left with the same words ringing in her ears. It's not just a breakup. It's trauma disguised as a sentence, and trauma doesn't fade easily. It lingers, it shapes, it changes the way she loves and trusts, making it harder for her to give her heart again without fear. Every woman longs to be chosen, to be seen as a forever kind of woman, not just a temporary chapter. She wants to hear words of assurance, words of commitment, words that tell her she is worth building a life with. So when the opposite is spoken, it cuts in ways no visible wound ever could. Because for a woman, love is not just about the present, it's about the promise of a future. And when that promise is taken away, it feels like losing everything she thought she had. Number 2, you're not enough. You're not enough. These 3 words can destroy a woman from the inside out. They don't just break her heart, they break the image she has of herself. When a woman hears this from someone she loves, it's not just a comment about the relationship, it becomes a statement about her worth. It makes her question who she is, what she brings to the table, and why her love, her loyalty, and her efforts weren't valued. This sentence carries a poison that seeps into every corner of her self-esteem, making her believe that no matter how hard she tries, she will always fall short. The pain behind these words is deeper than rejection. Women often love with everything they have. They give emotionally, mentally, and physically. They compromise, they adjust, they forgive, and they pour themselves into nurturing the bond. So when a man turns around and tells her she's not enough, it invalidates all of that effort. It's as if none of it mattered. She starts replaying every moment in her mind, trying to figure out where she failed, what she could have done differently, and why she still wasn't worthy of being loved fully. That self-blame becomes a heavy burden she carries long after the relationship ends. What makes this phrase so destructive is that it attacks her identity, not just her role in the relationship. It's not about compatibility or timing, it's a direct blow to her core. She might have always believed she was strong, intelligent, loving, and capable. But now, those words echo in her head and make her doubt every part of herself. They whisper that she's not beautiful enough, not smart enough, not interesting enough, or not lovable enough. And once that belief takes root, it doesn't stay confined to romance. It begins to affect how she shows up in friendships, in her career, and in every decision she makes. The truth is, most women who hear "you're not enough" were never lacking. They were simply with someone who didn't have the capacity to appreciate them. Often, it's not about her inadequacy, but about his inability to see her value. Yet, in the moment, she doesn't see it that way. All she knows is that the person she loved the most saw her as less. That realization is devastating because it's not coming from a stranger. It's coming from someone whose opinion she valued above all. It's one thing to doubt yourself, but it's another to have your doubts confirmed by the one person who was supposed to silence them. And perhaps the cruelest part is how deeply those words can stay with her. Even years later, even in a new and healthy relationship, that voice can still linger in the back of her mind. She might overcompensate, overgive, or settle for less because she's still trying to prove that she is, in fact, enough. That's the real damage. It's not just the pain of hearing the words, it's how they shape the way she sees herself long after they were spoken. Because once a woman starts believing she isn't enough, she begins to shrink herself in ways that no one else can see, all because someone she trusted made her feel like she never would be. Number 3, I never loved you. I never loved you. These 4 words have the power to unravel a woman's entire world in an instant. They don't just end a relationship, they erase it. To hear them after months or years of sharing your heart, your time, and your soul is like being told that every memory you cherished was a lie. It's not only heartbreak, it's betrayal at the deepest emotional level. Because love is not just something women feel, it's something they build their lives around. And when a man claims he never loved her, he's not just rejecting the present, he's rewriting the past she believed in. For a woman, love isn't casual. When she chooses someone, she does so with intention, with loyalty, and with a vision of forever. Every smile, every late-night conversation, every sacrifice she made was built on the belief that love was mutual. So when she hears, "I never loved you," it shatters that foundation. She begins to replay every moment in her mind. The words he spoke, the gestures he made, the promises he gave. And now all of it feels fake. The memories that once brought her joy now sting like open wounds because they no longer hold the meaning she thought they did. The pain behind this phrase isn't just about losing him, it's about losing trust in her own judgment. A woman may start to question herself deeply. How could she not have seen the truth? How could she have been so blind? Was she loving someone who never existed? That self-doubt becomes even more damaging than the heartbreak itself, because it plants the thought that maybe she can't trust her own heart again, that maybe she'll never know when love is real or when it's just an illusion. And the cruelty of these words lies in how final they feel. Unlike "I don't see a future with you" or "I'm not ready for commitment," which still leaves space for interpretation, "I never loved you" slams the door completely shut. It doesn't allow room for closure, for understanding, or for healing. It tells her that everything she believed in never mattered. And that is a wound that doesn't just fade with time. It's a wound that lingers in silence, resurfacing when she least expects it. What makes it worse is how such words can poison her ability to love again. A woman who has been told, "I never loved you," may carry that scar into every new relationship. She may hesitate to open up fully, afraid that once again she'll be told the love she feels is one-sided. She may guard her heart so fiercely that she stops herself from experiencing the depth of love she once longed for. And while on the outside she may appear strong, on the inside she's battling the voice that says, "What if this man doesn't love me either?" When a woman hears, "I never loved you," it's not just the loss of a relationship, it's the loss of belief in love itself, because it strips her of the very foundation on which she built her emotions, her dreams, and her hope for a shared life. And once that belief is torn away, she's left holding pieces of a story she thought was real, only to realize it was never hers to begin with. Number 4, I'm not ready for commitment. I'm not ready for commitment. At first, these words may sound like honesty, but for a woman who has already given her heart, they cut like a blade. To her, this isn't just an excuse. It's the sudden collapse of everything she believed they were building together. She didn't invest her emotions just for the present moment. She invested for a future, for stability, for the comfort of knowing her love was leading somewhere. When he says he isn't ready, what she really hears is that her devotion, her time, and her patience weren't enough to inspire him to choose her. The pain of these words comes from the imbalance they expose. In many relationships, a woman will give her best long before she asks for anything in return. She nurtures, she supports, she sacrifices, all with the hope that her love will be recognized and reciprocated. So when the man turns around and says he isn't ready for commitment, it's like watching the scales tip completely against her. She begins to wonder why she was ready and he wasn't, why her love was strong enough to commit, but his wasn't, and whether she simply wasn't valuable enough to be chosen. For a woman, commitment isn't only about marriage or lifelong promises. It's about security, trust, and the assurance that she isn't wasting her time loving someone who has no intention of staying. Women know the depth of what they give in relationships, and that's why these words sting so deeply. To hear "I'm not ready" is to realize that while she was all in, he was always halfway out. And that realization is devastating because it means the love she thought was mutual was never truly balanced. These words also force a woman to question her own worth in painful ways. She may start to think she asked for too much by desiring commitment, when in reality she was only asking for the very foundation of a serious relationship. She may even compare herself to other women, wondering if someone else will come along and suddenly make him ready. That thought alone can break her spirit, because it suggests that she wasn't the problem, but she also wasn't the solution. She was simply the placeholder while he figured out his life, and that's a position no woman wants to realize she held. The wound these words leave behind doesn't just disappear when the relationship ends. A woman who has been told, "I'm not ready for commitment," often carries that fear into her future relationships. She may hesitate to open her heart fully again, worried that she'll invest everything only to be left in the same position. She may lower her standards, settle for less, or silence her desire for commitment out of fear of being seen as demanding. This is how those words echo long after they're spoken. They reshape the way she sees love, the way she values herself, and the way she dares to hope for forever. For a woman, hearing that someone isn't ready isn't just a delay, it's a rejection of her readiness, her love, and her vision for the future. It tells her that while she was prepared to build a life together, the man she chose was still standing at the door, unwilling to walk through. And in that moment, she realizes that no matter how much love she gave, it wasn't enough to make him stay. Number 5, I'm leaving you for someone else. I'm leaving you for someone else. These words carry a cruelty that is hard to put into measure. They don't just signal the end of a relationship, they pierce directly into the heart of a woman's dignity and trust. To hear them is to experience betrayal in its rawest form, because love for a woman isn't just about companionship. It's about safety, loyalty, and the belief that she is cherished above anyone else. When the man she trusted tells her he's leaving for another, it doesn't just end the story she was writing with him. It erases her place in his life and replaces it with someone else. That reality is one of the most devastating blows she can endure. What makes these words so painful is the comparison they create. A woman who hears this is left battling the question of why her and not me. She begins to dissect every flaw, every insecurity, and every moment in the relationship, wondering if she wasn't beautiful enough, exciting enough, or worthy enough to be chosen. It becomes less about him leaving and more about her feeling discarded. The man she gave her heart to didn't just walk away. He chose another woman over her, and that choice slices through her self-worth in a way few other rejections can. These words also crush the very foundation of trust. Women often build relationships on loyalty, believing that no matter what, the bond they share is sacred. So when she's replaced, it doesn't just break her heart, it makes her question the sincerity of everything that came before. Were his words of love real? Did he ever mean it when he said she was the one? Or was he already searching for someone else while pretending to be hers? That uncertainty is haunting because it turns every cherished memory into a source of pain. What once felt like love now feels like deception, and that realization is enough to scar her for years to come. The betrayal of being left for another woman also instills a deep fear in her future. She may enter her next relationship with walls built so high that no one can easily climb them. Even if her new partner is loving and loyal, she may find herself doubting, wondering if one day she'll be replaced again. The wound makes her cautious, hesitant, and at times distant. Because when you've been left for someone else once, the shadow of that fear never fully disappears. It stays in the background, whispering doubts into moments that should be filled with love. And perhaps the most devastating part of these words is how they reduce her role in the relationship to something temporary. She realizes she was not the destination, only the stop along the way. The intimacy, the sacrifices, the loyalty she gave, all of it feels invalidated when she's told another woman is taking her place. For a woman who loved with her whole heart, this is not just a breakup. It's the deepest form of rejection because she wasn't just left behind, she was replaced. And that truth leaves her questioning not only the man who betrayed her, but also the worth of the love she gave so freely. Number 6, it's over. It's over. 2 short words, but together they can bring down an entire world a woman thought she had built with someone she loved. When she hears them, it's not just the end of a relationship, it's the sudden tearing apart of everything she believed in. These words don't just mark the finish line, they are a sharp, cold, full stop placed on a story she wasn't ready to close. And what makes them so devastating is how abrupt and final they feel. There is no room for explanation, no space for questions, and no chance for closure. Just an ending that leaves her with silence where love used to be. For a woman, it's over doesn't come as just words. It feels like a dismissal of her love, her loyalty, and her sacrifices. She thinks back to the countless moments she gave without hesitation, the support she offered, the patience she held, the dreams she shared. Suddenly, all of that feels erased in a single moment. She begins to wonder if any of it ever truly mattered, or if she was simply holding on to something that was destined to collapse all along. The pain is not just about losing him, it's about realizing that her heart, which she trusted so deeply, has been left in ruins. The harshness of these words is in their finality. They don't invite conversation, they don't leave room for hope. They slam the door shut in a way that leaves her gasping for answers. And the human heart craves answers, it craves understanding. When a woman is told it's over, she is left to sit in confusion, asking herself questions she may never get the chance to ask him. Was she not enough? Did she miss the signs? Was he already gone long before he spoke the words? That uncertainty becomes its own form of torture, playing over and over in her mind as she tries to make sense of what she cannot change. The simplicity of "it's over" also adds to the cruelty. It's almost careless in the way it dismisses something so significant. Two words cannot possibly capture the depth of what was shared, yet those two words are all she's left with. That's why they cut so deeply, because they reduce something once so powerful, once so intimate, into nothing more than an ending. For her, love was not something temporary. She invested with the hope of permanence, and to have it all dismissed in such a blunt way makes her feel small, disposable, and forgotten. These words don't just end a relationship, they create scars that follow her into the future. Even when she finds love again, there may always be a part of her that flinches at the thought of sudden endings. She may struggle to feel secure, always afraid that one day, without warning, she will hear those words again. And that fear can change the way she loves, the way she trusts, and the way she opens herself to someone new. Because "it's over" isn't just a phrase, it's a wound. A wound that reminds her how quickly everything she built, everything she dreamed of, and everything she believed in can be taken away with nothing more than two words. At the end of the day, these words are not just phrases. They are wounds that leave lasting marks on a woman's heart. But remember this, no matter what has been said to you, no matter how deeply those words cut, they do not define your worth. Your value does not shrink because someone failed to see it. If anything, their words reveal more about their limitations than about your greatness. So take the pain, acknowledge it, but don't let it chain you. Let it become the fire that shapes your strength, your wisdom, and your boundaries. You are not broken because of what was spoken to you. You are stronger, sharper, and more aware of the love you truly deserve. And the day you finally recognize your own worth, no words from anyone will ever have the power to destroy you again. I don't see a future with you,